Would you guys say that you're born an entrepreneur, or do you think that that's something that someone can learn?
That's tough.
I would say maybe it could be a little bit of both, but you do have to have some type of spark inside of you that states that, you know, you want to be on your own, or you have to have a certain level of either courage or a certain confidence within yourself that you'll be successful.
And did you notice that when you were younger, or was this a recent thing? Like,
No, I've always kind of been like that, because I've been hard-headed, you know, so to speak, all my life, where, you know, I never did what everybody else did, just because everybody else did it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm more or less like, well, why is everybody doing this? So, you know, why is everybody wearing this? So I've always done my own thing, you know, and I think that as far as doing my own thing, that, you know, as you get older, transitions into like, well, I don't want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. I don't want to do their thing. I want to do my own thing. So it's always been in me. So I think to a certain extent, you do have to be born with certain things, but you know, you can definitely teach entrepreneurial type things to certain people, because that's something they can, you know, transition into. Like, for example, somebody could be working a job and just so happen to either, you know, slowly over time get into trading or real estate. And then if it does well, I mean, they didn't necessarily get into it to, you know, to necessarily do that. They just want some extra money.
Right.
But it's become their primary, you know, way of making capital. So therefore they're entrepreneurs by, you know, by how life, you know, took them in that direction. So I think it can happen both ways, but like I said, you still, inside of you, have to have that mentality to, whatever you want to call it, take a leap of faith or have confidence. You know, you just can't, at the end of the day, you just can't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
You know, I think with me, never really afraid to fail. I just don't want to waste time and money. So it's kind of like with doing everything independently, it's a balance of how much money should I really put into this versus other areas. So it's kind of like you're your own boss, so you're always delegating where to put the money.
Yeah.
You know, but no, I've always had something inside of me that said, you know, I want to do my own thing. I think my problem was that I never really knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know, because as far as like a job, everybody was like, you know, I want to do this when I grow up. I want to do this when I grow up. And I never really had anything that I wanted to do as far as like working for somebody. I was like, I mean, a job is a job. If they're going to pay me XYZ amount of money, you know, so I kind of knew then that if I didn't have a passion to actually work a certain job where somebody pays me, then that's because I really wanted to be my own boss. You know, tell myself what to do.
I think I agree with you, because while you've been talking, I've been kind of thinking about, you know, the question as far as, are you born that way, or can you, you know, be made into an entrepreneur? And it's kind of, I agree with, you know, there's a certain portion of it that you should be born with, I think. And then there's a portion of it that can be taught. And I think the portion that can't be taught, that you should be born with, is grit. Like the willpower, staying power. I don't think you can teach that, because it's man, it requires a mental state, not necessarily a physical state, but it requires a mental state that not everybody is born with. Like some people just can't stay when it gets hard. Now, can you teach someone to make money? Absolutely. You know, anyone can be taught to make $1, but it's, can they stay when shit gets hard? You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that I think a lot of people miss, because is so many people, and I see it all the time, starting their own business. You know, oh, I'm starting my own thing. But they're starting their own thing because they just want to make more money. That's it. They're not starting their own thing because there's something inside them pulling them in that direction, other than they're not making enough where they are right now. And, you know, not saying that they can't succeed. It's just, I sit back, instead of going straight to their little Facebook page that they created, now calling themselves an entrepreneur, I sit back and I wait until that willpower needs to kick in, and that staying power needs to be something that they have naturally, you know. And then if I see some staying power, or like see where they've actually, you know, been through the dirt and just been digging, then I'll go like your page, because you know, you got it, type of thing. So yeah, I think you can. I think it's both ways. Like, there are certain aspects you can be born with, but I think there are certain characteristics.
Like you say, you definitely have to have it in you, because I see that from a music standpoint where, like you said, my music a lot of times tends to be more intricate. But like when you want to be I guess I would prefer the term MC more so than rapper, because you know, a rapper makes rap music, but they don't necessarily. They're not necessarily a lyricist, so to speak. So an MC has two jobs: to be dope lyrically, but also create great music. Because, you know, there's some dope lyricists where, you know, their music doesn't speak to you. Then, you know, you have some people that might not be as lyrical, but they can invoke, you know, and I have talks with people like that, because I know you're a big Tupac fan. So people will say that about Tupac or DMX, like, are they as lyrical, spiritual, miracle as some of the other people that, you know, use double entendres and use different schemes? No, their message is more straightforward, but they were always able to, you know, pick the right beats, rap on it in such a way, and give a certain passion that it makes the person listening to it feel it. So as an MC, you have two jobs, you know, because I am on that more lyrical spectrum. Now my core fan base is looking for me to do that. But then at the same time, I have to make a good enough song where casual hip hop fans, you know, and I bring that up to say you have to have a certain mentality. Like Jeremy was saying, it's because I'll come out with a verse, and then somebody else will hear a verse on the same beat or something. Like if I did a cypher, and I'll see where somebody said that this guy's verse was so dope, and just recite the most basic thing. I'm like, that's what you liked? And you heard my verse? But I realized, and this is why Jeremy said I probably should start doing explanations of my verses, is that even though I get it, they don't get it. They really don't get it.
People have been conditioned in such a simplistic way.
So it's not only important what you say, but a lot of times how you say it. You know, because it's funny with the video that you just did for me and Jeremy. It's like, I said a lot of different things, and people that really like hip hop have come back to me, but it's like the one thing that people keep coming back to me is, nah, never that. And didn't I tell you before we did it, that's what they were going to talk about?
Yes, you did. And that's why I told you to make a gift for that too. Nah, never that. Told you.
So it's funny. It's like that simple thing. It wasn't even a punchline, but because of how I said it, people could, you know, feel based off what I was talking about, like, I'm never doing that. Right. You know. Right. So like I said, it's just
too. It's something that can stick around for a while. You know what I'm saying?
So
it's dope, man.
What advice would you maybe give that kid that's just graduating high school and their parents or their peers are trying to influence them to go to college, but they aren't quite sure that's like, they feel maybe they have a good idea, maybe they want to be an artist, a rapper, a business owner. What advice would you give them?
You trying to turn all the parents against me?
Nah. This is what I would say.
Coming from someone who's been to college.
Yeah, you could still go to college, but you don't necessarily have to finish it. But in college is at a time where a lot of young adults are out on their own for the first time. So even if you have aspirations to do other things, you can go to college because it can connect you with so many different people.
Networking.
So the biggest advice that I could say, two things. One, if it's something that you're really passionate about, don't waste time. And two, just try to network. Because a lot of times you learn in this life, and this is with any business sector, it's really not about how good you are. It's about who you know. Yeah. Now, the quality is what
run that back for me.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about how good you are. It's who you know. So okay. Not to downplay quality, but I think, who you know gets you in the door, but your quality keeps you in the house.
What you know keeps you there. Who you know gets you in, what you know keeps you there.
Yeah. So you have to be connected with the right people, because you always see that where you may feel like, how did this actor get this role? Why is this rapper hot? Or this person can't sing or whatever. They have a strong team behind them.
Weirdly, if you go back, they're just like, yeah, we met in college. That's where
a lot of people did meet in college.
I think my network would be a lot bigger had I went to college, but I mean, I never had the knack to go.
Or use your network in high school. I mean, with social media the way it is now, the height of your popularity as a regular person is always going to be its highest at high school and college.
I tell people a lot. When I was in high school, that's when I thought up my own company and everything. And I made these shirts that I drew. I gave my fiance a picture, like a mental note of something, and she drew it for me. And we got someone to make it digital, and I printed on the shirts. And I sold 100 copies of the shirt just to teachers and things around the school.
Dang.
Yeah. And I feel like high school gives you
That's
and then
dope.
If you just give your teachers and people around you oh, this is what this guy's serious about that, I feel like they'll kind of follow you for that in the future. My teachers will still text me to this day hey, how's things going? How's your business and things like that.
Right.
So I feel like high school.
And it's and high school is way easier to get your point across because you're marketing to, basically kids and young adults where, they're not bogged down by the realities of life. For the most part, most people in high school don't have children. Of course, a couple happen. A lot of them don't have jobs. So really, you're seeing these people every day, Monday through Friday. Now you have social media. Everybody's connected with each other. So really, to make a push for whatever you want to do, business-wise or entrepreneur-wise, needs to start in high school.
Right.
I'd say that if I ever had children and I knew they wanted to do something out of high school, I would rather spend 20, 30, 40,000 that it would take to go to college and just put that into whatever they wanted to do.
That's how we see it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah, no, I agree 100%.
Because I mean, college really, unless I say this, college is beneficial for two things, and I'm not trying to downplay college, but college is good for networking and getting your foot in the door in certain places, or if you're going to do a certain business sector, like if you want to be a lawyer, an engineer, a chemist or something like
where
that.
You really need the training.
Yes. Then yeah. But everything else, man, to a certain extent is kind of BS. I mean, it looks good on paper, but in 2020, 2021, everybody can go to college. Everybody goes to college. It's expected. Whereas, maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, everybody didn't go to college. So it's like, okay, he's got a degree. So now it's like having a bachelor's degree in whatever your field is, kind of like, okay, I mean, everybody goes to school, so if you have that entrepreneur lifestyle or mindset rather, it seems dumb to me to go to college to get a business degree to do business.
Right.
Because
I think you learn more trial and error.
right.